Hello and welcome back, or welcome if you are new here. My name is Justina. Welcome to my channel. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back and thank you for joining me today. So here today, I'm going to talk about the full moon happening on the 27th of December at 5 degrees of Cancer. So here, if you have any placements at around 4, 5, 6 degrees of one of the cardinal signs are the signs of action, the signs that initiate each season, then you will be under a greater influence of this full moon. So here, a full moon occurs when the sun and the moon are in opposition. The moon is fully visible in the sky, and our emotions are heightened, and so are our feelings. This full moon connects to a larger story, a larger lunar cycle that started on June the 29th of 2022. So during that time, we had a new moon in Cancer, and now during this full moon, you might see that a story that started around that time could be taking a different turn, direction, or could be coming to an end. This could be also about a major highlight connected to the story that started around that time. Now, here, so if your birthday is actually around the 29th, 30th of June, then this full moon will also bring some significant realizations, at least around the 26th, 27th, because here this cycle started on the 29th of June, 2022. All right, so here the moon, of course, it feels fantastic in the sign of Cancer. So it is connected to family dynamics and domestic life, family relationships, our feelings, emotions. Of course, every time there's a full moon or a new moon, our feelings are highlighted, but especially when the moon is in Cancer, because there is this harmonious connection that the moon has to Cancer. So here Cancer is a water sign. It's a cardinal sign. So here a lunation in a cardinal sign is action oriented. Right. So at this time, we've got Mercury still retrograde, and along with Jupiter and Uranus. But here, these retrogrades are almost coming to an end. We've got beautiful connection that this full moon makes to other planets, sextile to Jupiter, which here gives this abundant and positive energy of hope, of faith, and that ability to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Also, there is a trine to Saturn in Pisces. Saturn is connected to structure, discipline, responsibility. When it connects harmoniously to other planets or lunations or luminaries, this creates opportunities for generally initiating something that has a long-lasting, long-term effect. In a positive sense, things generally go much easier when there is a trine or a sextile involved. Now, we also have a few different alignments. Of course, Mercury is retrograde, connecting, applying to conjunct Mars. So even though Mars is connected to that impulsive and passionate, driven energy, but at the same time with Mars and Mercury connecting, this is about having conversations that are generally thought-provoking. But also here, there is here again this stimulation, motivation to review, reassess whatever is needed and necessary around this full moon. Now, here we also have this interesting locomotive lunar shape of this lunation. Here, the chart of this full moon. That's a lunar locomotive shape. And here, what it means is that here these energies generally represent here that driven approach to life, and also persistency, and that ability to be or remain strong-minded. Just to remind you, a locomotive shape occurs when the planets here in the chart, along with the luminaries, occupy 2/3 of the entire chart. So here, one of the third is empty, is unexpressed, or uninfluenced to that strong extent, which also suggests that we may need to work harder to pay attention to this area where nothing is happening, where there aren't any planets moving or going through. All right, so here a little bit about this full moon. Now let's see what this full moon will mean and bring for you on a more deeper and more personal level. You will find the timestamps in the comment section and also in the description box down below this video. So here we go. Thank you very much, and let's begin. All right, so hello Aries. I'm going to experiment, and I've got this chart here with a grid. So let me know, do you like this kind of chart? I hope it can be visible or seen properly on YouTube. Okay, so now a full moon. So here it's always straightforward for Aries, because your chart aligns as it should be. So Aries is in the first house, Taurus. So generally the traditional association with each house of each sign. So this full moon will be in your fourth house. So here, let's think about what the fourth house suggests, indicates, symbolizes. The fourth house is connected to our family, our heritage, emotional life, emotional well-being. It's a very sensitive area of life, an area that often prompts us to be more private, especially when there is a full moon happening. Emotions are so tight and heightened, and with Saturn transiting your fourth house, you might feel like spending time at home, and you might be, because it's Christmas, so you might be celebrating with your family, but at the same time, it could be about having some very significant, important conversations that perhaps you were avoiding, or your family members were avoiding, because the full moon here is obviously visible in the sky. So here, often during a full moon, everything is brought up into the surface. Things become clear, secrets are revealed, mysteries become more perhaps understanding, or they are no longer mysteries, because things are revealed at the same time. So here, full moon generally is about endings, about releasing of the unnecessary energy. So this could be very much connected to you having this strong need to declutter and to do a clear out straight after this full moon is exact. Now we've got a lovely connection, as I mentioned earlier, because this full moon will sextile Jupiter. It's a very tight sextile. Jupiter is about to station direct a few days after this full moon is exact. It's a sextile, so opportunities and financial, perhaps this could be about receiving support, financial support from a family member. This could be also connected to even receiving some gifts connected to your home, for your home, since it's also, this is happening around Christmas, so this could be very much the case. Financial gains are possible, financial support as well. Perhaps this is also when there are some dynamics here taking place connected to anything to do with your landlord. But since the energies are harmonious and positive, this is generally should be a pretty straightforward full moon overall. But with the full moon connecting via sextile of Jupiter in your second house, this could be either connected to some financial support, gains, gift, or perhaps a good feeling good about yourself, increased self-esteem or self-worth through some good news, good feedback, positive relationships at home, or energies, ambience. Now, this full moon also trines Saturn. Trines are yet again harmonious energies, and Saturn is about structure, stability, consistency, responsibility. That's your 12th house. So you could be very well making some, or even in your head at this point, because Mercury is retrograde, but you could be also re-evaluating, reassessing your past. And this could be also when you'll be thinking about these long-term goals, long-term objectives for the future as well. So a full moon, so a full moon in the fourth house brings generally those family, home, and domestic life-related dynamics into place. So overall, family gatherings could be very much the case here for you. Important or significant, thought-provoking conversations with family members, as well at the same time decluttering, or perhaps you could be also receiving a delivery following this full moon, since this is all about completion and releasing of the energies. And perhaps you're also preparing for a move, for a relocation, or you're thinking about that as well. Okay, so so let's have a look at the next sign, and this is, of course, Taurus. Hello, Taurus. Let me just have a look if you can see the chart, because sometimes Zoom likes to play tricks, and now it's Mercury retrograde, so I can't trust things just to. Okay, it's good. It's all good. Right, so full moon in your third house. So here, the third house deals with movement. The third house deals with travel, siblings. So that you could be very well having a significant conversation with your siblings. Things could be revealed, things could be more clear, especially if you think you lack that clarity. But at the same time, you might be very driven, stimulated to be close to the water feature. Cancer is a water sign, so this could see you perhaps having this need to even take a walk close to the river, the sea, or perhaps generally you might feel like you want to be close to the water feature in general. So it's all about also recharging your energies and perhaps also releasing the negative energies here as you perhaps recharge yourself. It could be very much the case, especially if Christmas was overwhelming the festive season as well. Now, at the same time, we've got also a beautiful sextile to Jupiter in your first house. So here you could be making perhaps future plans or reassessing, reevaluating, especially since we are approaching the end of the year. Jupiter is all about the future as well, and about having this bigger vision upon your life. But at the same time, Jupiter will be stationing direct. So here, this could be very much about also reassessing, reevaluating your goals in order to prepare or better prepare for the upcoming year. Cancer is connected to energy related to family dynamics. So yes, here you could be also visiting, traveling to see relatives. And these family dynamics are definitely here emphasized as well. But this is also connected to perhaps because it's happening on the 26th, it's a Boxing Day, but perhaps a few days before or after this full moon, you could be also working on an important written assignment project. You could be writing tests as well. It's all about completion as well of a project that you've been working on. A full moon creates that energy that allows us to move forward with a goal we've been working on. So if you've been preparing for a test, or if you've been working on a specific business idea, work-related idea, or a social media account, this could be about completion as well, completion. All right, so let's see what's what the next sign, what's happening in the next signs live during this full moon, and this is Gemini. Gemini, for you, of course, Mercury is still retrograde, so you will be still in that perhaps Mercury retrograde mood phase. So Mercury retrograde could be very much connected to withdrawal, a greater need for reassessing, reevaluating certain aspects of your life. But at the same time here, this is all about generally concentrating on what truly matters at this point in your life. Perhaps you are not able to divide your attention at this point because there could be lots of thoughts racing through your mind. So it's all about concentrating or focusing on what truly matters at this point. All right, so a full moon in the second house connected to anything to do with our resources, financial security, stability. The moon is visible. So here you are receiving some outcomes, some results of your efforts, of something you've been working on. If you've been working on a specific goal, project, objective. Now you could be also receiving some money deposited in your bank account. This could be the case. Things are generally there's generally more clarity usually when the full moon is here in the second house when it comes to your finances, when it comes to your money situation. Perhaps you're thinking about a new business. Perhaps you're thinking about new ways to save or manage your finances more efficiently, more effectively. If you will be shopping around this time, make sure you keep all your receipts, especially when it comes to items that you weren't sure about, because Mercury is retrograde, and once Mercury stations direct on January the 1st, you could be very well changing your mind and returning the items that you purchased during the retrograde phase. But here, your financial security, stability is definitely highlighted here. And if there is some kind of instability in this area of life, then this full moon will make it more visible, more noticeable. And here you could see yourself doing financial planning, financial budgeting, but it's often also connected to purchases, spending money. And it's all about that managing consciously cash flow, generating money coming in and money coming out. We've got a beautiful sextile to Jupiter as well. Perhaps for some Geminis, this could be about doing things connected or activities, engaging in activities connected to self worth, anything to do with improving your self-esteem as well, self-help books, self-discovery, tests, books, for example. And we also have a trine to Saturn in Pisces, and that's your 10th house. So here again, as I mentioned, this could be connected to some financial news or changes connected to your profession, connected to your income, and perhaps you'll be receiving the money that you've been waiting for during this time as well. Mercury is retrograde, so it's all about also returning to something from the past, something that was delayed or on hold could return to you, especially if it's an object, physical object, material object, or anything to do with money, finance as well. All right, so let's see the next sign, and this is Cancer. So for you, Cancer, it's a big one because it's happening in your sign, in your first house. And this full moon brings full attention upon you, upon your physical appearance, your identity, your ego. And anything that wasn't clear, anything that perhaps you may have overlooked recently or in the recent past will suddenly become more noticeable. So generally here with a full moon, it's all about releasing, letting go, moving into the next level, moving into the next stage. Think about what happened in your life during that new moon in Cancer back at the very end of June 2022. What did you start around that time? What sort of energies were present? So for this reason, it's quite useful to have a moon journal, because it's easier to just look back and to remember what happened during that time, or just keep a note of generally each full and new moon, or generally a new moon, what intentions, what goals you set for yourself, because then when a full moon occurs, it's easier to go back. But overall here, you will be redefining your goals, so your objectives. This could be also about launching a project you've been working on. We've got a lovely sextile to Jupiter. So there is some positivity in the air as well when it comes to hope and faith connected to your goals and ambitions. And at the same time, perhaps for other cancers, it could be about receiving some support or just a caring message from a friend that could perhaps make you feel really good about yourself. And the trine to Saturn is all about your life purpose, finding ways to get you back on track if you feel like you are not fully aligned with your purpose, with what you want to do, with where you want to be. Saturn creates that responsible, serious energy, but at the same time gives you that ability for effective planning, efficient goal setting as well. Now, moving forward, Leo, for you Leos, this is happening in your 12th house. So the energies are introverted. The energies are generally here to help you perhaps to reevaluate, reassess what is necessary, what is needed, what lessons you learned from the experiences that perhaps seemed overwhelming or challenging. So there could be lots of different thoughts going through your mind around this time. Mercury is retrograde. You could be reviewing, reassessing your financial security, stability, your income situation. Jupiter will soon be moving in a direct motion as we begin the new year. This is fantastic news because you will see that generally that career growth and development will receive this big boost of energy in a positive sense. But during this full moon, this is a good time for generally concentrating on your private life, on your well-being, on your mental well-being as well, physical well-being. So here, self-care, self-love, and you might feel like you want to withdraw. You might feel like you want to spend time alone or just with people that you feel comfortable with. And it's all about also the self-reflection. The full moon is connecting harmoniously with Jupiter by a sextile. So this also brings some good vibes, good energies, positive feedback, hope, faith when it comes to career goals, professional life development as well. And then we've got trine to Saturn. Saturn is in your 8th house. So perhaps for some, this could be also about receiving a commission or a Christmas bonus. This could be very much the case as well. But overall, it's all about also, while you will be reassessing, reevaluating your goals, you can also start to think about your future plans. Saturn brings or creates that opportunity for stability and structure. Right, especially since the sun is your chart ruler. So whatever the full moon is going to square, well, sextile or trine, so will the sun. So in the sun case scenario, there's a trine to Jupiter and sextile Saturn. So I think it could be a really fruitful full moon for you, even though it's happening in 12th house. You can also, perhaps if you've been trying to quit smoking or drinking or reduce your alcohol consumption, then this full moon could also create further opportunities to stick to your goal and to help you to remain consistent. Now, Virgos. Virgos, this is happening in your 11th house. So here this is about friendships. This is about groups you belong to, your social circle. So you'll be thinking about the people that are in your life, the people that you call your friends, the people, your acquaintances, colleagues. So here there will be one or a couple of people that will especially stand out around this full moon and make you think about the connection you have with them and whether something needs to change, whether something needs to be addressed. Perhaps you'll have an important conversation with a friend that could generally change your mind about a specific project. This could be also about moving away, distancing yourself from some people in your life or a person. When the full moon is visible, we gain that emotional clarity, even though Mercury is retrograde, your ruler, so that's mental confusion. Cloudiness could still be the case. Or perhaps there is that tendency towards overthinking or indecisiveness. But the moon is connected to our emotions and feelings. You're a very caring and nurturing friend. You've got Cancer on your 11th house cast, which makes you someone who can be very nurturing towards other people, especially friends. And generally people that you meet overall in group surroundings as well, or perhaps doing some workshops, you can be a very nurturing and caring individual. So this actually makes you someone who can really attract positive experiences, positive people, but at the same time, that Pisces on your seventh house cusp, you also attract people who might not always have the right intentions. That's why you've got Saturn here, transiting your seventh house until 2026 to help you to be more realistic about the people that you allow in your life, and also to help you to create healthy boundaries. So here, this full moon, on the one hand, could be about some connections, friendships, perhaps you could be having some strong feelings and realizations that could perhaps prompt you to make a certain decision regarding this connection moving forward. At the same time here, the full moon connects harmoniously with Saturn by a trine. So on the other hand, perhaps this could be about a certain connection in your life becoming more stable. Perhaps you developed trust in this connection and you are ready to commit fuller. And here, Saturn brings that consistency and stability. At the same time, this could be also about perhaps even a new connection, someone new, older, or with a larger life experiencing, also entering your life around this full moon. So there could be lots of different opportunities here. At the same time, here, your goals and your objectives, plans for the future are very much highlighted. You could be redefining some of these goals, especially if they seem unrealistic or not achievable at this point in your life. Okay, now a sextile to Jupiter could also bring a little bit of boost, faith, hope as well. And maybe also here again, some influential connection as well into your life. Okay, so generally it's a full moon. It's a full moon that connects you to other people. Right, so let's have a look at Libra. And Libra, for you, this is your 10th house. So here, the 10th house is all about your outside world, your public persona. And this full moon is about your career, professional life development, growth as well. So a full moon is about endings, conclusions, or this could be a peak of a certain situation. Now think about what happened in your life around June, end of June 2022, because this full moon is connected to that lunar cycle. So you could be very much resolving some kind of events, or perhaps dealing with similar people, situations, energies that were also present during that phase in your life. So here with this full moon, generally you become more aware, at least emotionally aware, of where is it that you stand. If you are not happy, or if you haven't been happy or fulfilled in your career, this full moon will bring lots of different kind of emotions that will generally trigger some of your thoughts. Mercury is retrograde at this time, so you could be also reviewing your future, your purpose, and if there is someone or something restricting you, your freedom, then this full moon will also make it more noticeable and more visible. Now, for some, this could be about quitting a job, moving into a different role. This could be also about some highlights in your business. Perhaps you're launching a new product. Now, Mercury is retrograde, so perhaps try to wait until the 1st of January at least. But it generally doesn't have to happen on the day. The influence could be last a few days after this full moon, could be activated a few days before this full moon is exact. But overall here, this full moon brings some news, realizations, activity in the outside world, in your career, professional life growth and development. At the same time, we've got a sextile to Jupiter in your 8th house. So with Jupiter and this full moon sextile, this also creates opportunities. Perhaps for some, this could be about a Christmas bonus or a commission, or perhaps, especially if this is something that you've been waiting or expecting, because Jupiter is retrograde at this point. So you could be very much dealing, the ruler of the eighth is in the second, and this full moon connects with Jupiter in the eighth. So for some Libras, this could be related to that Christmas bonus, Christmas promotion, or generally even an opportunity, a potential for some career advancements in the new year. So at this point, if it's not going to be physically handed to you or announced, this could be about a little spark in your mind, or generally a little thought that, oh, actually, there could be an opportunity for some advancements or life career improvements in the upcoming year. So this full moon will bring some opportunities, realizations for you without a doubt. Now, for some Libras, this could be about change of your status as well, because you've got the nodes in your first and seventh house. And for many Libras, there will be changes in the relationship. So when it comes to your commitment, either your relationship will move into a next phase, or perhaps you'll be starting a new relationship, ending a toxic relationship. All right. So overall, thank you very much. And let's move into the next sign. Hello, Scorpios, and welcome to your horoscope for the upcoming full moon in Cancer. So here, this full moon connects harmoniously with your ascendant, because both Cancer and Scorpio are water signs. So this is great. They connect by a trine, harmonious energy. So overall, lots of harmonious energy in the air for you, And we've got this full moon happening in your ninth house. A full moon is about releasing some project energies. So you could be publishing or preparing for publishing. Mercury is still retrograde, so perhaps a few days after this full moon, you'll be publishing, announcing something into the larger audience or world. If you have your own business, if you are involved in public speaking, here this full moon could be very much, or if you're a writer, journalist, or a coach, generally this full moon could be about releasing, connected to releasing of some of your project idea, course of study, or a book. Now, this full moon brings the need to sort out your documents. If you have perhaps some overdue tasks to do connected to passport renewal, or generally even connected to your children's documents, because Saturn is in your fifth house, connecting by a trine with this full moon. So perhaps this full moon will prompt you to return into perhaps some important documents that you were trying to fulfill, complete. Months ago, you didn't have time. You've got a beautiful connection between the ninth house and the fifth house of your children. So perhaps you'll be also getting a citizenship for your children, or passports. This could be very much the case. And it's actually a good full moon for doing so, especially if this is something that you've been wanting to do a few months ago or last year. You could be returning into this sort of idea or project task in the final days of December. Because here, this full moon and Saturn connecting by a trine, this gives you that ability to work constructively, consistently, with that eagerness and that energy to follow through. Cancer is a cardinal sign connected to action, so action-oriented. So here, with this full moon, you also generally will, if you've been feeling restricted in your life, if you've been feeling caged in some way, not literally, but metaphorically speaking, and this full moon will make it visible, will generally, at least your feelings on the emotional level. You could be also going through lots of different realizations and perhaps changes that you want to implement in the new year to feel perhaps less restricted in your life. And generally, it's all about simplifying your life as well, with that North Node in your sixth house for another year. Now, this could be also about booking a holiday, being away, traveling, and Engaging in activities that will help you to feel free, adventurous, spontaneous, and you might be enjoying a good book, a movie, but something slightly different, something that will open your horizons, open your mind and your wisdom as well. So, yes, we've got also a lovely connection with Jupiter by a sextile. So perhaps it could be also about receiving some support, positive feedback from a friend, from your partner. Now, Jupiter will soon station direct, and you will attract interesting people into your life, at least one in the first 4.5 months of 2020, for someone with whom you could create a long-lasting friendship, connection, collaboration. And Jupiter will help you to make it happen as long as you take the initiative, as long as you take that step forward. Get yourself out there. And right, so the ninth house is all about traveling. Now here, the country is connected here to that Cancerian energy, because of course the ninth house deals with foreign places, foreign travel. So we've got Scotland. You could be traveling to Scotland and to Holland, Tunisia, Venice, Milan, Amsterdam, or even Cadiz in Spain, Wittenberg in Germany, York in England, Algeria. Right. So a few locations that you might be visiting. If you come from these locations and you live abroad, so perhaps you will be returning back home if your home is not where you live. So you could be also returning home, or perhaps you could be traveling abroad to visit your family members. Okay, so thank you very much, Scorpios, and let's move into the next sign. All right, so hello, Sagittarius, and welcome. And this full moon will be in your eighth house. So the eighth house deals with transformative, intense energies connected to death and rebirth. So here, this is connected to a certain degree of transformation, changes that you might want to implement. It's about moving away. It's a good time for generally clearing away or cleansing yourself from any deeply rooted feelings and emotions. So detox and generally here, you moving away from any habits, routines, destructive energies generally that block that ability to move forward with your goals. At the same time, Mercury is retrograde. So generally here, it's a time when you might see yourself returning to goals that you have already set for yourself in the past, but you didn't have the inner motivation to fulfill them. So here with the full moon in the eighth house, which is all connected to those intense and transformative energies, this is when you also absorb energies of other people, external influences very easily. So make sure you protect yourself, you protect your energy field, and get engaged in activities also, or activities that will help you to relax, soothe your energies as well. So the full moon here in the eighth house is also connected to receiving perhaps some financial support from the government, especially something that you've already applied for, something that was delayed, and it might actually arrive around this full moon. We've got a beautiful sextile to Jupiter, which is here connected to your health overall. So here again, I need detox or lifestyle changes, or anything to do with dietary changes. If you've been wanting to implement these important or generally break away from any negative habits that affect your health and well-being, then this full moon could really help you with that consistent approach, since it's also connecting to Saturn. Now, at the same time here, your intimate life is highlighted. Any perhaps plans, goals connected to family and home, domestic life related dynamics as well. So it's all about stability and long-lasting energies as well. And here with the fourth house, Saturn highlighted here, Saturn generally brings that need for security and stability, for building these solid foundations. And this could see you going through some perhaps home-related changes, and you could be restructuring that home area here while Saturn stays in Pisces. But at the same time, the full moon and Saturn here connecting by this lovely trine could really produce some fruitful outcomes connected to home improvements. And here with the full moon in the 8th house here, you are more aware of your outgoings, of any loans or any debts you may have. And this full moon brings also the opportunity perhaps for implementing these necessary changes in the upcoming year to help you to find more fulfillment. So it's all about liberating yourself in many ways from these heavy, negative, wounding energies in order to embark on a much more positive journey. Because with the full moon in your ninth house in January, you'll feel very different, especially since Jupiter will soon station direct on the very last day of December. Around the 29th, Venus will move into Sagittarius. So generally, you will feel much, much better here as we end 2023 and move into 2024 with your ruler regaining its strength, with Mercury also moving in a direct motion, and also Venus in your first house brings a lot of positive energy here for you. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, drained around this full moon, please give yourself some time, because the energies will improve. And when Venus comes into our first house, it really, really helps us to see the more positive side of life rather than to focus on the negative. For those who are single, could be also a time when you'll be dating when Venus is in Sagittarius, because Venus brings a lot of charm, positive energies into your life. And there's also that need for self-care, self-love, for pampering yourself. So here, after this full moon, you will see that the energies will really, really improve, and you'll get this massive boost as we enter 2024. All right, so let's have a look at Capricorn now. Capricorn, for you, this is happening in your 7th house. So the sign opposing your first house, Cancer, is in the seventh house. So here, Cancerian energy is connected to the nurturing and caring energy, homely energy as well. And here, overall, with a full moon in your 7th house, the attention is turned upon your partnerships, connections with other people. So generally, their presence will have a certain degree of influence upon your life. Now, here, think about what happened in your life around June 29th, 2022, when we had a new moon in Cancer connected to this cycle, because during this full moon, you could see that similar energies, similar people are also present in your life during this full moon in Cancer. Now, at the same time, we also have, we also have beautiful connection with Jupiter, a sextile. So this could be also about a partnership. This could be about the partnership that you have with another person, something to do with your business or a project. And now during this full moon, you could see some outcomes, fruits of your efforts. This is also connected to signing some important contracts, agreements. The 7th house deals with these sort of activities, but we've got Mercury retrograde. So make sure you also read the small print. Make sure that everything is clear, that you are familiar with all the details, because Mercury is squaring Neptune at this point. So there could be that cloudiness, or perhaps it could be easy to generally overlook certain details. So it's something to pay attention to. Now, a full moon in the 7th house also is connected to our relationships, love, marriage. Things become more visible and noticeable. Something that perhaps we were kind of ignoring could suddenly become a burden. And it's all about also resolving any issues, any situations that have been on your mind. Here, even though Mercury is retrograde, so that mental energy is a little bit triggered here, or clouded, but we've got the emotions here. The moon rules our emotions and our feelings, and the moon is visible, fully illuminated by the energies of the sun. So the emotions are heightened, and so are the feelings as well. So you could see yourself also having these important conversations with your significant other. Perhaps you're planning to move in together, buy a property, get married, engaged. This sort of conversations could be on your mind as well, because you've got the nodes now, along with the eclipses, activating these important areas of life. So this could be related to change of status from a fiance becoming a wife, or girlfriend, a fiance. So all these changes in the dynamics. Now, perhaps if you've been dating someone, now this relationship will be moving to the next stage. So lots of different ideas could be the case. Perhaps this is connected to a work contract as well, and nothing to do with love or relationship. So you'll know best how this will play out in your life. But here, that area of one-to-ones is connected. The area, whenever there are transits in this area, then we learn a lot about ourselves through connections, collaborations with other people. All right, so I think that's what I've got for you today. Now, bear in mind, we also have a connection with your ruler Saturn, which is actually really great, because this will help you to gently stand your ground and to remain grounded around this time. Now, the sun is in your first house, so you're fully regaining that light energy. Soon Mars on the 4th, 5th of January will move into your first house as well, and you'll feel much, much more energized. So take this full moon to reassess, reevaluate your partnerships, your relationships, your connections. All right, so here we go. Thank you very much, Capricorns, and let's move to the next sign. Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to your horoscope for this coming full moon in Cancer, happening in your 6th house. So here the moon is in the 6th and the sun is in the 12th. Cancer is connected to the energies related to family and home related dynamics. And here a full moon, yes, so the full moon here is fully visible. If you have recently had a surgery, then you could be going through a healing process. Usually the full moon is when there's a peak of that healing process, and post the full moon, it should be much quicker and easier to heal. Now, the full moon in your 6th house brings a greater awareness when it comes to your work, employment, daily life. If there is something that you don't enjoy in your daily life, if there's something out of balance, that this full moon will make it visible and will prompt you to implement the healthy changes and necessary changes in order to find more comfort, emotional stability, and comfort in your everyday life. At the same time, the 6th house deals with our skills, our talents. So perhaps this could be also when you'll be making plans for the next year to update, improve, or learn new skills connected to your career, connected to your work and employment. Now, with the 6th house full moon, your employment is highlighted, and you could be also working on your CV around this full moon, sending out CVs. Perhaps you'll receive some good news just before this full moon is exact, or after this full moon when Mercury stations direct on the 2nd of January with a job offer, because this is also very much the case here. Now, overall, this is also when you will be dealing with important deadlines, potentially just a few days before this full moon is exact. It could be the case. The moon is in the 12th house during Capricorn season. So overall, until the 20th of January, you might feel slightly more introspective or introspected. You might feel like withdrawing, contemplating, working from behind the scenes. Pluto is approaching your first house, your sign. So there is this massive transformative energy taking place. Jupiter will soon station direct on the very 1st of January. So That need for expansion and growth, more space in your home area is here highlighted, boosted as we begin the new year. So lots of new opportunities are coming for you. And this full moon could be really prompting you to implement the necessary lifestyle changes in order to find more fulfillment in 2024. It's all about eliminating what is not necessary and leaving what is very much needed and necessary in order to feel light, in order to feel happy, content, and fulfilled. So here your diet is emphasized as well. Perhaps you will be going through dietary changes and implementing more exercise into your new routine, which could be the case. Now, this full moon connects to the new moon we had back in June 2022. So perhaps during this time, you will also dealing with a story that started around that time, connected to your work, connected to your business. Perhaps someone is leaving and you'll be looking for a new employee in the new year. Now, this could be also about your pet. They might need your attention, or perhaps you'll be getting a new pet, adopting a pet. Now, the full moon connects harmoniously by a sextile to your fourth house. This is great because this gives you faith, this gives you hope that things will get better at your home. At the same time, we've got a trine to Saturn. So here, this gives you that consistent and hard-working approach towards your goals, objectives. Now, having said that, this yet again highlights that opportunity for a new project, new work opportunity, new business opportunity following this full moon. All right, so let's see what's going on in the Pisces horoscope. And this is here Pisces rising. Hello, Pisces, and welcome to your horoscope for the upcoming new moon. And this new moon will be happening in your fifth house. So the fifth house deals with anything to do with our children, parenting style, conception, but also our own business, hobbies, interests, romantic side of life. And here, this is also the area that deals with entertainment, fun. So here, with a full moon being fully illuminated, fully visible around this time, if there's anything that lacks in your life, if there's anything that blocks that ability for fun, pleasure, then this full moon will make it very visible and noticeable. So here during this full moon, you might crave a little bit of fun and entertainment. Well, it's a holiday season, so you might be spending it with your friends or your family members, but at the same time, your children might need your attention. Now, thankfully, we've got a lovely connection between this full moon and Jupiter. And Jupiter, this is your traditional chart ruler. We've got a lovely sextile, which could actually indicate either some positive news or perhaps some enlightening conversations, or perhaps even some strong emotional realizations concerning your parenting style. And you might see that perhaps the routine or the changes that you've been trying to implement at home with your children are producing fruitful results and outcomes. That's what the sextile indicates, opportunity on a different level. If this is about your business, about a project you've been working on, a connection here with a sextile, this also brings that certain degree of fulfillment, hope, and faith. For some Pisces rising, this could be about reconnecting with your siblings or relatives next of kin. Jupiter is retrograde in your third house. This could be very much the case. Now, on a different level here with the full moon connecting with Saturn by a trine, this is about creating long-lasting, stable plans and goals, objectives for your future. So here, full moon and Saturn trine. Saturn is in your first house. So you are starting this major 29 years cycle with Saturn. But here, the full moon in your fifth house connecting with Saturn, it's all about implementing these necessary or important ideas, goal changes, something that will potentially bring that life satisfaction, but in a long term. Now, for some Pisces rising, this could be about conception or giving birth, having children, having a family, for having conversations about family planning. So it's all about also that creative self-expression that needs to express your creative urges, your internal urges in some artistic way. So here a full moon in the fifth house brings us to our inner child, healing energies as well. And it's all about letting go as well of any emotional baggages that make us feel miserable or perhaps bring back negative thoughts. So here, full moon is about helping you to release these energies that block that ability to express yourself freely, openly, to be authentic and true to yourself. All right, so here we go. Thank you very much, Pisces. All right, so here we go. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed this video. I wish you a happy full moon in Cancer. So this is probably my last video for 2024, the last long video. I will be active on Instagram, and also I will try to create some shorts and posts during this time. You can also subscribe to my bi-weekly newsletter. You can find all the information in the description box down below this video. Happy holidays. Happy New Year 2024. Thank you very much for your support, and I'll see you next year.